Bam, bam. Let's go. Facebook Live, YouTube Live. It's the Great Debate Show. All right. And now, over here, press play. Yo, 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 yo. Let's go. It's the Great Debate Show with your host, Jarvis Jeffries, along with Terrence Smith, Nick Ely. We are back and we're better than ever, baby. It's the good guys. And we've got so much to talk about. This show is jam-packed. A lot to unfold. Derrick Carr, he's a New Orleans Saint. Is this a good match, a good fit for both? We'll talk about it. We'll debate it. What else we got? Brady could possibly unretire for the Miami Dolphins or the San Francisco 49ers. That's the rumor right now. We'll get into that. No surprise at all that Brady could possibly unretire again. No surprise at all there. Also, we've got a lot of more news that Derrick Henry with the Tennessee Titans is being shopped around right now. The Titans are looking like they're going into rebuild mode. I've said this on the Great Debate Show several times that the Titans just really lost their way after trading away A.J. Brown. They've really been in rebuilding mode ever since. They don't have an O-line. They don't have a secondary. They don't have a quarterback. There's no sense in holding on to a running back in his prime, wasting his prime years. If anybody thinks that the Titans are making a dumb move, and I'm not saying they don't make dumb moves, but there were a few people earlier I saw on social media saying that the Titans, this is a dumb move. Why are they trying to trade their best player away? Because they have nothing else. They have nothing around him. Do you want to build around that right now? If you want to, come on, let's go. Let's debate it. You can call in 901-308-4916. We'll be talking about the Titans in a minute. We'll be talking about Derrick Carr in a minute. And there's the basketball. Oh, so much NBA news. KD and Kyrie, KD versus Kyrie. They didn't have any interaction, so we want to talk about that. I didn't see anything. Like, is there some beef? Is everything good? They didn't interact at all. I didn't even see them make eye contact. So what do y'all think about that? Booker and Luka gets into it right toward the end of the game. So much to talk about. KD, is he still one of the best players in the league? Can the Phoenix Suns really win the West? Have you seen enough? Are you convinced? We'll talk about it. But first, let's start this show with Ja Morant. Here in Memphis, if you have to be here to really know, well, actually you don't. You can watch the news. And I see people all the time to tell me, is it still bad in Memphis? They always say things like that because they watch the news. Sometimes when you're around in a world full of hatred and, just hatred, your heart can turn somewhat cold. When you come from nothing and you finally get to where you're trying to go and, life is just so much better and you're young, but you can provide for your entire family and you've got everything you need and everything you want. Sometimes, you would think that, hey, you would look back on life and you would say, I am a very lucky man and I should be more grateful. Now, looking at this situation with Ja Morant, I don't know what to say. Grateful definitely doesn't seem to be one of the words that fits him right now in this discussion because everybody knows he was seen with a gun in a video or flashing a gun or something like that in the state of Colorado. We won't even discuss or debate how we got the gun in Colorado. What really matters is that there was a gun, and there's been numerous incidents from Ja Morant here in the past month, I would say, or at least the past couple of weeks, and it's kind of seeming to get kicked under the rug, but then here we go again, and now they're saying Ja's going to be away from the team for at least 2 games. It could be longer. Head coach Taylor Jenkins talked about it. They're definitely aware of it. There's going to be some discipline, we're sure. But, guys, I guess the main thing we want to start with saying is what is going on with Ja? Is he trying to ruin his career? What is his dad T doing or saying? What needs to happen? Is he going to get it right? Because a lot of people are comparing this to the Carmelo Anthony from earlier in his career, where he, was kind of not getting it. He was thugging it out, and he had a talk with Stern, and I think it was still Stern. Yes. And yeah, they said, hey, man, we would love to have you here, but you got a choice to make. You want to be over here with us, or do you want to be over there with them? And we would like for you to be here, but it's your choice. And Melo definitely turned it around, and he became a star in this league, and had a pretty good career. So anyway, will that be Ja, or will he just flush it all down the toilet? But first, guys, now that I got it all out of the way, how are you guys doing?
If I'm gonna say nothing else, what you said in the start of the show here, I definitely know the Titans can make some bad decisions, and I certainly appreciate them for that bad decision.
Yeah, I was about to say wherever they trade Henry to, I'm putting a bet on for them to make the Super Bowl and lose.
What if they trade Derrick Henry to the Philadelphia?
Whoa. Yeah, right. They're gonna lose to the Eagles, but we're not gonna pick them up.
What if the Titans trade? What if the Titans trade Derrick Henry to the Philadelphia Eagles also? I mean, wouldn't that make Nick like the happiest man in the world? Like, that's a 2-for-2. Like, man.
I mean, how much are we gonna pay him? Would be my question. Because he wants to get paid at this point, I'm sure, and I don't want to do that.
Well, yeah, that's some of the reason why this is happening. That's some of the reason why it's happening. So, yeah, we'll get to Derrick Henry in a minute. But, guys, Ja Morant.
If you want to play for $6 million, I'd be glad to have him.
Yeah, I don't think he would do that. What is he playing for right now?
I don't know, but I think the number he's going to be looking for is going to be probably in the 12 range.
Yeah. All right. We'll get to that in a minute here. But first, Ja Morant, guys, what's going on? What are y'all hearing? And I don't know, man. Some people think that maybe Ja's just been in Memphis a little too long, and it's rubbing him the wrong way. And he's starting to act like it. Well, I'm not gonna say us, but he's starting to act like a fellow Memphian. What's going on here? And this is a young kid from South Carolina that I thought, well, according to the jokes today, he went to a good prep school, and he ain't really just, I don't know if he's really lived that life, but it looks like now he wants to live that life, and somebody needs to just grab him and just say, hey man, cut it out.
They definitely gave him the 8-mile treatment. I'm not gonna lie, that one had me crying.
That was hilarious. The internet, once again, undefeated. If anybody hasn't seen all the videos, y'all check it out. It's a lot of their own Ja, they're on his ass. But yeah, guys, y'all go ahead and tell me your thoughts, man. 7 minutes already gone. I'm sorry. What's up? What y'all think? Terrence, let's go with you first. I can hear you real good and clear. Let's go.
All right. Well, listen, guys, there's so many layers to this, and I don't even know where to get started with it. But I want to say first to the people in Memphis, quit being so offended when people are critical of the city and now of his star player, because clearly Jar is in the wrong here. But if you scroll Twitter, you see a lot of people who are trying to defend him and saying it's not that bad, or I don't think he's broken any major laws, right? But the optics are terrible, and the optics are terrible because he wanted them to be terrible. He went out of his way to let all of us know that he had a gun in his club in Colorado at 4 or 5 in the morning. And I've got a bigger problem with that than I do with however he got that gun into the club.
Right.
But I know I saw where Jamel Hill pointed out that this is the same city that killed young Dolph. And people were in the comments and trying to light her up because they were saying that she's not from here and whatever. Let me tell y'all something. I'm not from Memphis either, but I've seen more Memphis crime than I'm pretty sure 95% of the people in Memphis. And she's right. She's 100% right. Dolph was killed because he's from Memphis. People that killed him knew where to find him, how to find him, when to find him. That's because there's somebody from Memphis that did it. And John's got to realize that he is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, role model to kids in the city right now. And Every time he's celebrating with the guns after being criticized for it, during the game. He's got his pistol, and who holds a pistol like this, by the way, Yeah, Ja's got to realize that it's bigger than Ja right now. And don't play with guns. That's weak.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Nick? If anybody watching we're live on Facebook and YouTube live before Nick speaks. Just if anybody can hear well on Facebook Live, please. If you're having an issue with the sound, let us know, and I try to get the sound straight here. Nick, all right, man. Look like you had to take a deep breath there. What your thoughts on Ja, man?
My thing on Ja. So I'm not going to crucify him for what he's done to this point. He's done some dumb stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that by any means am I excusing what he's done or am I making it okay what he's done. What I am saying is I understand that he is 23 years old, and to this point in his life, in the last 3 years, he's probably signed deals for the neighborhood of $500 million. Just all of us, the three of us are all much older than 23 years old, right? And the three of us probably did a lot of dumb stuff that we're glad it put us in some very bad positions at 23 years old. Or probably did put us in some bad positions that could have gone a lot worse. And now if you think about how amplified those things would have been if we had $500 million at our disposal and feeling that invincible and being as famous and as big of a star as you are in the NBA. So I understand that because of what's cool in that age group today, that's what he gravitates to. And I'm not saying that it's new. Don't get me wrong. It was cool when Allen Iverson did it. It was cool when Carmelo Anthony did it. Right? I say I put cool in quotation marks, obviously. But it's what's cool to you at that age. And so that's what he's gravitated to. And unfortunately, it's messing with his ability to continue to be the star and the earner that he is. And so for that, some of the guys that I just mentioned, the Allen Iverson, the Carmelo Anthony, this NBA brotherhood that the guys speak about so much, I think it's definitely time for them to step up and show that brotherhood and be able to kind of put their arms around him and say, look, man, we get that you want to go out and have fun, you got this money, you're doing this, that, and the third, but you got to understand that it comes with a lot of responsibility. You got to make some better decisions than what you're doing. I do agree with Terrence in that there's people that are being entirely too sensitive and entirely too wanting to cover for Ja Morant or say, well, we don't, hold the same responsibility to rappers. Well, of course we don't. They're rappers. That's part of their lifestyle. Them promoting their lifestyle continues to get them paid. Him promoting their lifestyle costing his ability to get paid for what he does best. And I think people need to understand that their responsibility is extremely different. And so therefore there is absolutely a different standard that he's held to.
Yeah, and before you take the ham, I also want to say what I'm not going to do, and what I've been hearing other people do, but what I'm not going to do is criticize his dad. There will be no Ja in the NBA.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to criticize T for that.
Yeah.
Ja's a grown man. Ja makes his own decisions. It ain't T's job to walk around with that boy and make sure he doesn't illegally carry guns across the country.
Yeah.
I don't agree with people that are coming at T for that.
I saw a comment today earlier.
Is if you're making the assumption that he hasn't had the conversation. Just because he talked to him doesn't mean y'all gonna stop. What are you gonna do about it if you don't?
Right. Nick,
he's 23, not 12. You can't give a whooping and put him in timeout.
Nick, check and make sure everything is good on your end sound wise. You're not quite as loud or as clear as T. I don't know what.
Oh, y'all sound good to me.
Okay. He's louder than you, but it could be another reason for that. But that's fine. I saw something today, y'all, where I saw somebody made a comment saying that T. Morant is not. He needs to grab his son and talk to him. He needs to do this. Nobody knows what he's doing, but I'm kind of I'm with T on this too, because I think we can blow things out of proportion. We can definitely be too sensitive to certain things, but just because you're looking at T always having a good time, at these games, and he's lit, he's crunk. I get all of that, but it doesn't mean that he's not a good father. It doesn't mean that it's his fault that Ja is doing what he's doing. There are parents out there that prepare their children the best they can and set them up, for life, for the real world. But, the parents can't live the child's life. He can't live his life. And sometimes this is what you get from that. And this is not to say that the father did his job, and I'm not saying that he didn't do it. I'm saying I'm not going to bash him because, hell, I wasn't a fly on the wall. I'm not a sibling, to Ja, so how the hell am I to know? So I don't care about any of that. There's parents out here that do great jobs with their kids, and they still go out and do effed up things, dumb things. It's called young and dumb. We've all been there before, been there, done that. But I know for a fact that, hey, kids can be doing silly things out there, and the parents have nothing to do with that. It doesn't mean like a father wasn't trying to, do his job. So I'm with T on that, and I'm sure they're going to get this worked out, cleaned up. What do you think is going to happen with Ja, though, in the NBA? He's sitting out a few games. When they get their hands on this and they, put their foot down and do whatever they're going to do, how do y'all see this playing out? Suspension-wise, if one.
I think the precedent is unfortunately set with Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton. So I think that if there's something that is concrete, they have to go with that. If that's not the case, I say, man, look, give them 10 games, 15 games, and let's move on from it. And let's hope that he is moving on from it.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. If he is not going to do what he's supposed to do, listen, no matter if he gets one game or 100 games, if he doesn't man up and become more of a grown man and handle his responsibilities, he won't be in the league much longer. So it doesn't matter.
Right.
These types of things don't get better if you don't make them better. And you have to legitimately look at some people around you that you probably grew up with and have been there for you, and you have to tell them, hey guys, we can't do this anymore.
Yep.
You have to this whatever this fascination is with guns that he has. I promise you, I would love to let him ride around with me one night. I would pick up the news banner one more night, just let him ride around with me. Let's see what Memphis really looks like when those Grizzlies lights are out before.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go down a couple of these streets over here in Fraser or North Memphis or South Memphis. See what Memphis really looks like. If he's not willing to pick up their responsibility and do better, it won't matter how many games he gets. But I say 10 games honestly is enough. 15 games is to me the max. But I don't know what that precedent is going to look like.
Yeah. The thing about the precedent is the precedent applies for less than outstanding people, right? That applies for the Javaris Crittenton of the world. And Gilbert Arenas was outstanding, but let me rephrase, but it doesn't apply for the elites. Ja Morant is an elite conversation as it pertains to the superstar that he is in the NBA. So the NBA doesn't want to give them a 50-game suspension. I don't see that happening unless something more egregious than what we've seen already comes out, whether it be from the Denver police investigation or if he does something else or whatever the case is. Provided that this is the height of where this is going to get, I would say 10 games is probably the max. If it's found that he did bring the gun on the team plane, I could see where that suspension could become. I would probably guess it would come conveniently at the beginning of next season, as opposed to anytime meaningful in this season, meaning near the back end or the playoffs. Obviously, he's going to take a couple of games that he's taking now. I can see the possibility if the Denver investigation goes quickly, that he could serve, an 8-game suspension right here in the season. The 2 games that it was initially forecast to be could turn into 8. And then, like I said, provided that he walks the line from there, I would think this would be the end of it. I would like to believe this would be the end of it as well. Just being in a city like Memphis and Ja being the star that he is, and the influence that he's able to have, I would certainly like to see that continue for quite some time, as opposed to being an unfortunate, quicker ending.
Let me play devil's advocate for just a second. Are we also taking into the account taking into account the previous incidents he's been a part of, allegedly. Especially to me, the most egregious.
Right. Oh yeah.
To me, the most egregious thing would be the situation in Indiana, where somebody from his camp allegedly pointed a laser at the Pacers team.
Well, there's also an incident where he was supposed to hold a team.
Type of games with nobody, Memphis or otherwise.
There was also another incident. Isn't there another incident of him, putting a gun up to the face of a teenager or something like that?
I don't know if he put a gun to the face.
Well, maybe not a gun, or he kind of roughed him up, or he done something.
He punched him, and then he got it and brandished his gun.
Okay. That's another incident. So if that's true, I don't even know. I don't.
Well, to be fair, the kid threatened him. He said basically, I'm gonna come back and light your house up. Something along those lines. That being said, why are you finding yourself in a situation where you're fighting a 17-year-old at your house and then having to threaten him with the gun?
Why would a 17-year-old threaten him anyway?
For one, why are you finding yourself in that situation?
So you're telling me a 17-year-old said, "I'll light your house up," instead of "I want your autograph"?
No, he told him, "I'm come back and light your house." That's the report that I read.
No. Who said that? The 17-year-old or John Morant?
Yes, the 17-year-old.
Okay, so basically you're saying a 17-year-old said they would light a superstar's house up instead of "I want your autograph, Mr. Morant."
They were playing a pickup basketball game in his backyard, and the game got aggressive, and then that's how they ended up in a fight. And then after the fight ended, or after I ended up punching, I don't know if it became a fight per se, but after that, the kid said he was gonna come back and light his house up. Ja went inside and got the gun, and whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that.
My thing is, why are you finding yourself in that situation? You have no business being in a situation like that.
Yeah. There's some things that he needs to stop doing. There's a lot of things that he can no longer continue to do that he probably used to do before he became one of the faces of the league, if not the face of the league now. That's just what it is. Everybody started to really this season. It started last season, but this season they've really started to separate him from the other, players in this league, and everybody has really elevated him up their list to where it's like, hey man, I've even heard Stephen A go as far to say this brother here, this young brother will be the reason why the Grizzlies will be in the Western Conference Finals. Can they get to the finals? That's another thing. And now we don't know what's going to happen now because we don't even know what will happen with Ja. But I just think whatever happens, maybe it'll be for the better in the city of Memphis, because I'm sure he'll have to do some type of community work, community service. Maybe, something good comes from that, some type of charity event, some type of organization that he puts together, fundraiser. I don't know. Something good maybe can happen from this in the community here in Memphis. Lord knows we could use it.
He'll have plenty of opportunity because gun violence in Memphis, they go together like fish and spaghetti.
Exactly. My point exactly.
Went the Michael Vick route, but obviously as it pertains to guns.
Yeah. And this is
what that could mean for a place like Memphis.
Yep, and not trying to say one is more than the other, more important than the other, but right now, what's going on in Memphis and this gun violence, it would be huge.
That was definitely more important. I love dogs, two of them at this point, but I'm gonna pick the humans.
I didn't want to say it out loud, but yeah, there you go. I agree. But yeah, all right. So real quick before we get into the rest of the NBA news, before we leave the city of Memphis, the Memphis Tigers had a game yesterday on Sunday. Against Houston, the number one team in the country. This is their second time playing them, I believe, at least. But this was a close game. It looked like Houston was going to run off with this thing, and Memphis said, hold up. No, not so fast. It was a good game. They came back and made a hell of a run immediately after halftime. Good adjustments made. Penny Hardaway, the coaching staff, everything seemed to look like, man, the Tigers could actually win this game. I don't know how much we'd be talking about them right now had they won. I'm sure they would have been all over TV beating number one Houston. but they didn't. But they only lost by a buzzer beater. So I'm trying to tell you guys, I was impressed. And some of the things that you guys have told me behind closed doors, not while podcasting, I've kind of told you all that I disagree. I didn't think you were right, but maybe you are about his recruiting. I didn't even have an issue with the coaching for the second half of the game. So all I'm saying is that even though the Tigers lost, this team does look like they can make some noise in the tournament. So I just want to know what you guys think in March. March Madness is approaching here. Are the Tigers going to make some noise? What do you predict them? What do you predict their exit to be? Last year, I think it was Sweet 16. Can they get past that? Can they get further than that? I like the backcourt. They got two guards I can't think of their names right now.
Kendrick Davis and
Davis and Lomax. They're not bad. They're all right. But man, Houston's got a guard. That Shed guy is he's good, strong, quick, all of that in one. But Houston, man, I'm telling you, the Tigers gave them all they could handle. So this tells me that maybe Memphis is good, or it's just a good conference game, and this is the reason why I was like that. And they'll probably still get smoked when they play all the other good teams. Just let's start with Terrence first. What's your take on the Tigers and from that game Sunday against Houston?
Yeah, no, man. I really thought that Memphis was going to beat them. Right, like I think when I looked up, Memphis had 5-6 point lead, maybe maybe 5-6 minutes to go. That's why I was so shocked, because I was working yesterday and I asked you guys that Memphis pulled it out. I was very shocked to hear they lost by a buzzer beater, because I legitimately thought they were going to win that game. And you also have to keep in mind the first time they played, they were without Kendrick Davis and I think a couple other more people. So that's probably why Houston won a little more decidedly against Memphis the first time around. And I definitely believe that Memphis can make some noise in the tournament. They probably should have gone to the Elite Eight last year. I still say they kind of got a little bit of a screw job in the second half of the game. But I do believe that they can still make some noise this year and get to the Elite Eight. And who knows what they can do from there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was a tough game yesterday for sure. I mean, when you talk about it, I think back to the conversation that we had in regards to Penny and, kind of all those things. And I just, I looked at what some of those guys showed yesterday, specifically Kendrick Davis, and to say, that's the kind of talent that he's able to recruit. And it's just, I think I give credit, to his growth as an on-court coach. Because I mean, the game in the 67-65 shows they did a great job of playing defense and being able to stay in that game. And so, kudos to Penny, kudos to them. I'm looking forward to seeing them in the tournament. I would look forward to the opportunity for them to play Houston again in the upcoming ACC tournament next week. And so, we may see this again, and may see them actually come out on top and obviously help their seed going into the NCAA tournament. I look forward to having the tournament.
Okay. Memphis Tigers. They've got 7-8 losses, but again, they look pretty good, and I just thought I would bring them up because we don't do that enough, and I figured we keep the topic in Memphis for a minute. The Tigers, I think they definitely could make some noise though in the tournament. And man, if they ran into Houston again, I don't think Houston would want to see that, because that third time, you just know the Tigers will probably get them. Always difficult. All right, so we will keep it moving. I want to get this line back going here. I don't know what happened there, but we're going to keep it moving. And the first thing we're gonna go back to is the best team in the NBA. Who is that? And the reason why I asked that question is because, hey man, I know a lot of teams just recently, made trades, and so everybody's trying to gel, get their chemistry back. I get that. However, we have seen 3, 4, 5 games with some of these teams. KD undefeated in Phoenix so far. At one point, the Clippers were 0-3 with Westbrook in the lineup, but now they finally got a win also. So basically, what I'm saying is that the Celtics look good, but they can't rebound for the most part when I'm watching them. The Warriors look like they're back, and then the next minute, it looks like maybe not quite yet. but the Nuggets are still the top of the West. Philadelphia, they were making a run, but then the Bucks are back. The Bucks are doing their thing. Who is the best? It's wide open to me. And that's why I asked the question, who do y'all have as the best team in the NBA right now? Just one.
Nick, you want to go first on that one?
The best team in the NBA. I said on the Saturdays earlier, I think it may still be the Celtics, even though they lost to the Knicks yesterday. The Knicks has been on a hell of a hot streak. And now I think
the Celtics gave up a 28-point lead to Brooklyn.
They did. The Celtics had multiple opportunities to win that game yesterday, and it cost a good friend of mine a good amount of money. He was highly upset. Everything else was sticking hit. Boston lost. I'll share with y'all a little later.
Good job, Knicks.
But,
what you get for betting against my Knicks.
Right. But the more I think about it, so the question was, who is the best team in the NBA right now? And so with that, I would probably have to stick with the Boston Celtics.
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. I didn't mean to cut you off. It wasn't Teddy, was it?
It was.
I apologize. Dog, screw you, Knicks.
It was Teddy. It was.
I denounced my Knick fanship for that.
You say you're seeing it, and that's what y'all.
No, I hadn't seen it. How much was it worth?
$1,200.
We'll make that back. Don't worry.
It's the one I won on. I just took that line off. Yeah.
We'll make that back. Don't worry about it, Teddy. We'll
go back to that.
Get it back.
But the team that I would say is the one people should be most worried about as we head down the stretch to the playoffs. The same team has been basically every year for the last half decade or so. Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry's coming back healthy. Klay Thompson seems to have found his stride. He's starting to look like Klay Thompson that we're used to. Draymond's been back and kind of doing his thing. I don't see a reason why, particularly with the West looking the way it does, it could be them and Phoenix in the Western Conference Finals. And I'm not entirely convinced that Phoenix beats them. One thing that Golden State does well is that they put their depth together pretty well, and that's what Phoenix is lacking. They got Gary Payton Jr. back, Gary Payton III back in the trade a couple weeks ago from Portland. Yeah. And they could be oil enough and getting ready for another playoff run. So that's the team I would say is people should be most on alert for, headed down the stretch.
All right. I guess I'll take it.
You can understand and say that the best team in the league is the New York Knicks. I'm leaving.
He's not going to do that.
I just announced my fanship because of Teddy. I'm so sorry, Teddy. Okay. But listen, y'all. I am going to say that there is no best team in the league. Nobody has told me that they're just so much better than everybody else that they can win convincingly. And it's kind of a rarity for basketball because typically in basketball, you pretty much know most of the finals possibilities before the season even starts. But this has been a year, man, especially in the Western Conference. Like, if Golden State were to go and win all, what would that be, 12 games straight and sweep like three, that's possible because nobody has proven to me that they are just better than Golden State. Nobody's even proven to me that they're better than Sacramento. Like, I don't know who to pick out of the West. And, I think it's probably a toss-up maybe between Boston and Milwaukee over in the East. But neither one of those have shown me that they're just convincingly better than the other teams. So, and even right now, Boston looks like they're struggling. But, teams struggle. But, to me, you shouldn't be giving up 28-point leads to the Brooklyn Nets who just traded away their two best players. It's rough. To me, the answer is there is no best team. Because, even Denver's first in the West, and Jokic is about to get his third straight MVP, but nobody's convinced that the Denver Nuggets are the best team.
No, I find that hard to believe. But I don't find it hard to believe. I think the main issue is that for whatever reason, people are not wanting to give the Nuggets the credit that they deserve, or they feel they're being a little slighted, just a bit. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's
because of Jokic.
Is it because of Jokic?
He's not muscular. He's not. He doesn't look like Superman. He looks like a big plain old country white dude. I mean,
Yeah.
it's reality. So that doesn't resonate with us.
It seems like nobody has a problem with putting Luka on a pedestal. Not saying he doesn't deserve to be. He's a bad boy. But it seems like for whatever reason, people are kind of giving some pushback with Jokic. And from what I see, if there's anybody that should be put on the pedestal, it's the back-to-back MVP winner. Working on 3 straight. And the guy's putting up 40, 20, and 10, 40, 15, 10, 40, 17, 12. He's doing this like it's nothing. He's doing it like it's just pick up a scrimmage game or something. I mean, like, that's a bad dude. So, let's not. Why are we going to be so surprised that the Nuggets are the champions at the end of the season? For some reason, we just don't want to buy it. We don't want to buy into it.
I can tell you why. Well, I can tell you what I heard, and I can't remember who it was that I was listening to say it, but it was somebody who opinion I respected.
Right.
He was NBA, former player, I believe.
Okay.
But he was saying that, and it's something that I've noticed, but I couldn't put it into words the way he did. The game changes when you get to the playoffs. So the things that Jokic does in the regular season, they look great. But all the shots that he gets his teammates become harder. So the mid-range shots he normally gets might as well be 3-pointers. The 3-pointers might as well be at half court. They become more contested. The passes are harder to get off, kind of those sorts of things. Yeah. And part of the reason that's the case for him is because he doesn't necessarily have that athletic, dominant, take over the game. Goes, look, I got to go get 45 tonight. I'm going to go get 45 tonight, and y'all going to get on my back, and we're going to make this thing work. Rather than him being a guy that, and it's great what he does, that he goes out and regularly gets 25, 10, and 10, 25, 12, and 10, 28, 14 and 11, or whatever he does, It's great that he does it on a regular, but when you get into the playoffs, sometimes you need that guy, you get a boss to say, okay, you got to go get 45 tonight. We're going to plug in what we can, and you got to take us home. And Jokic doesn't give the impression that he has the ability to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think what people have to remember is that even last year, they were a 3rd or 4th seed last year?
Without Murray.
Yeah. Without Murray, there you go. No Murray's back.
Well, Michael Porter Jr. I think he was out too.
Michael Porter Jr. Yeah, he was without his 2 best players last year.
So both of these players are back.
He deserved that MVP, and he deserves this one too.
Yeah, and so now both of these players are back, and they're still not getting much credit.
They're in the 1st seed.
And
the 1st seed,
but that's what I'm saying. But for whatever reason, we're still just looking at that like, yeah, okay, we're doing the Denver Nuggets. They're doing the Denver Nuggets, I would say, because I bring them up. We do mention them here on the Great Debate Show, but they're kind of treating the Nuggets like we treated the Minnesota Vikings all football season in 2022. During that 2022 season, we said, hey, yeah, the Vikings are number 2 in the NFC or whatever. They're right behind Philly, look record-wise, and yes, Justin Jefferson is the baddest man in the league, but we still didn't buy into it. We never gave them a chance. We never took them serious. And then they went and laid an egg very first playoff game against the Giants at home.
I think the Nuggets are a little more serious than I think.
Are the Nuggets a little more serious? Okay, well,
I think a little more serious, but I definitely get the analogy. Sure.
It was a good analogy, and I'm with
it. Definitely was.
Well, they're gonna play 7 games. I mean, the best of 7. So yeah, they're definitely gonna get more than the Vikings got. It's just one and done in football. But
who's the 8 seed right now in the West?
You got me.
Maybe like Minnesota or something like that.
Yeah, I mean they'll beat Minnesota.
But the playing game, who knows what the playing game will be like?
Whoever, any of those playing teams, they'll win the first round series. I'll drive that.
I don't know.
Unless like Dallas falls into it some kind of way. I think they're still at 6 right now. So I think Dallas is up to 4. But if Dallas finds a way into it, then maybe they won't beat Dallas.
I think Minnesota beats them.
I do too. I think they can. I think they can. And it would be for the very reason why nobody's giving them enough credit. Why nobody's, why is, again, not saying they're the Vikings, but they're not royal respected. I mean, they're not getting the love that they should be getting. They're not taken serious. Why is no one taking the Denver Nuggets serious? This could prove why if the Minnesota Timberwolves at that 8 seed, if they are the 8 seed at that time, would have knocked them out. They're beginning to be a hot team right now. They come into the playoffs. Hey, man, yeah, I could definitely see it because the matchups actually probably will work in the Minnesota's favor. So I could see that. Not saying it would happen, but there would be some nice money to be made, though, if we got an 8 to be the 1 seed this year. And it would be lovely if it would be Timberwolves, which, of course, we know the bet that me and Nick got going on. If you've been listening to the Great Debate Show, we've got a nice bet going on right now as far as where the Timberwolves will finish in the Western Conference by the end of this 22-23 NBA season. All right.
Just put a little action to this thing real quick.
Okay.
The West is a gridlock, first off. 5 through 9 are separated by 2.5 games. The Warriors are 5, Timberwolves are 6, Mavs are 7, Clippers are 8, Pelicans are 9, and Pelicans are 9.
Who's 8 again?
8 is the Clippers. The Timberwolves are 6 right now.
So right now I'm winning my bet.
Right now you win.
I told you they were making a run. Yeah, but they're making a run from last week to this week. Now they're at the spot that I want them at. Now I need them to get a spot higher. The Clippers are.
The Mavericks and the Clippers are both a half game behind us. So how confident are you that they are able to maintain a lead over the Mavericks and the Clippers?
Well, I'll say this. They look like a more complete team right now. The Clippers can't seem to get it together. They can't seem to figure it out. Maybe they will. You've got the Dallas Mavericks who are entertaining to watch offensively. But, man, let's be real. They lost a lot of depth to get Kyrie. They still don't play defense. They still don't rebound. Nobody in the league rebounds, it doesn't seem. Nobody in the league plays defense. So I'm with T. There is no best team in the league. There's really not a best team in the league right now. I don't see any clear dominant team. So I got to go with T on that one. But, Nick, let's wrap up the basketball. Dame is snapping out. He's scoring 40-plus damn near every night. KD and Booker look good as expected. They're not doing anything they're not expected to do. So let's not get carried away there. Chris Paul is getting open shots now because of this, though, and I need him to do a little more. I know he's 38. I know he doesn't have. He's on about a quarter tank of gas right now. I get it, but we need him to do what he can do in these one-on-ones and not just facilitate the offense. It's time to get a little more aggressive. He started to do that at some point in the fourth, but he couldn't make the shot when I needed him to toward the end. But we'll see what the Suns. I can't say they're the favorites of the West. I can't come out and say it because I don't see enough defense. I don't see enough rebounding. And that goes for Boston. That goes for Phoenix. That goes for Dallas. That goes for maybe William Jones is right, Nick. Terrence, maybe William Jones is right. Maybe it is the Bucks. But again, to me, I'm with you, Nick. It depends on what Chris Middleton shows up for the postseason. So I don't see a clear team right now. Hell, if you ask me, the Lakers can make a run and really turn this thing sideways. The way they've been playing, Anthony Davis is showing us what Anthony Davis could really be like if he stayed on the court. We've kind of forgotten because our minds are a little foggy. You know, he's been in street clothes for so long. But look what he's doing when he's not in street clothes. They're playing pretty good basketball. And the Lakers got an impressive win on Sunday against the Warriors in San Francisco at that without LeBron. So that was impressive, I thought. The Clippers did get a win with Westbrook and so on. But look, as good as the Mavericks and the Suns looked on Sunday, there's not enough defense in the league, period. I don't know if any of these teams, it'll just be shootouts throughout the whole postseason from what I see. Nobody's stopping anybody. If there's one team that plays defense as well, I guess that's still Milwaukee. I like Boston too, but damn it, they don't rebound. They don't rebound at all. They get out rebound. I watched somebody for the Knicks get like 3 or 4 straight offensive rebounds on the same damn possession. Like, what the hell? And the Knicks have won 9 straight. I guess the easier question should have been who's the hottest team in the NBA. And we could have just said the blue and orange because the Knicks are balling right now. I said early in the year, Terrence, you might have a reason to cheer for your Knicks again. I said that. Terrence said, be quiet, don't want to hear it. Knicks fans are so, I understand they're so cautious because they don't want to jump the gun. They don't want to jump out the window. They tried it so many times, and then they realize, this bungee jump ain't working. It's not working. But they're playing good. Brunson has already overexceeded the expectations expected for him in New York. Barrett, Randall rejuvenated. He stepped in the Steve Urkel chamber. He came back out. The Knicks are playing good basketball. Give him credit. Thibodeau, he always gets his teams to play hard, work hard. If there's one team in the league that's not taking days off, not taking nights off, not taking games off, give credit to Thibodeau and the Knicks because they will play and they play hard every single night. You don't have to worry about is this guy playing, is that guy playing. Everybody's playing. Not that they have a mega star, but everybody's playing. And I like the players that are RJ Barrett, I think, was one of them that are coming out saying, so was my boy in Minnesota, Edwards. They don't like this stuff. They don't agree with it either. Well, these guys are not playing games and fans are just wasting their money. But that's enough of basketball. I don't have a best team in the NBA right now. Neither does Terrence. And Nick, you went with who now?
Boston was best. Golden State is the most dangerous.
Who's the best again?
Boston.
I had to make you just say one, Nick. Just one. But it sounds like you're telling me we're going to have the same NBA Finals matchup as of now. That's what you're telling me. You said Boston and Golden State. I heard two teams. So
depends on which Chris Middleton we get.
Gotcha. I definitely think that matters. Okay.
And it depends on how much of a factor the Warriors' depth is against the Suns.
The fact that the Suns have no depth, that should bother any Phoenix Sun fan or anybody that wants the Suns to win. They gave up quite.
There's so many good on offense. For most teams, it's not going to matter.
It does when you can't stop the other team on the other end. It does if Ayton and Mikal Bridges and these other guys aren't going to step up. They got to do something. We know what we're going to get from KD and Booker. Who? Oh, okay. Well, whoever it is that's on the floor that plays in that position, I know Ayton needs to do more. Paul has to do more. I'm not asking for him to do a lot more because I understand he's not the same Chris Paul, but he needs to do a little more than what he's been doing. He started to show up a little bit in the fourth, but hey, you know what's going to happen with the other two, and they're going to get some double teams. They're going to get some track. You got to take advantage of it. It's time for these guys to make plays. I'm not saying they're the best in the West yet. I don't know what to say. I don't see who the best is. Nick, we got some football stuff to talk about, though, if you want to go ahead and jump into that. If you've got everything in front of you on where we want to start, I know Derrick Carr and Derrick, both the Derricks, Derrick Carr, Derrick Henry, they're making the news. Where we starting at?
I mean, I think you can see here. I made it clear where we're going to start. So it's not going to be for me to start. Terrence to start. So we let Terrence get started off. Things are looking very ominous in Baltimore when it comes to a future with Lamar Jackson that includes Lamar Jackson. I'll let Terrence kind of give us the news on the latest and maybe his prediction on how he feels like this will end up.
Doesn't seem like it's going to end well. Everything you hear, everything you read now comes out saying that, hey, they are still far apart on the deal. And as of this recording, they are about 10 hours away from having to slap the franchise tag on them. And looks like they're going to go with the non-exclusive tag, which will allow teams to negotiate with them and come up with deals, and they get an opportunity to match. Dark times in Baltimore right now.
I'll say.
My fandom is on the line, and I stand by that. I'm not about to sit by and root for a team that can't sign a star player because of what. Like, I still haven't heard why they haven't met him on his contract.
Yeah, you're not going to. You're not going to.
And even despite the contract, they've been so lackadaisical getting good receivers over there. It just seems like pure negligence. And I'm going a need for general manager Acosta to step up to the plate and really talk to me personally. Call my phone and let me know why, one, we couldn't put good receivers around here. I'm saying that excluding Bateman and Duvernay. I like both of those gentlemen, but they both got hurt this year.
And Bateman spoke up. Bateman spoke out about the whole thing. Yeah, the contract. Yeah.
He did. And more importantly, why couldn't we get him signed last year, let alone having to wait to this year?
Exactly.
I want to start mine by saying I'm a little bit disappointed in y'all.
Don't trade him to the Eagles.
Oh God, I don't want to do that. I'm good where I'm at. No offense, Lamar, but I'm good. I'm a little disappointed in y'all.
Would have won a Super Bowl with Lamar.
Particularly you, Jarvis, if I'm being honest about it, because you
be honest.
Are the resident host who likes to find the behind the curtain workings and the things that the coincidences that may not be so coincidental.
Right.
So I'm starting thinking through this thing, and I'm going, why are the Ravens so comfortable lowballing him to the extent that they are? Right? And then I started looking into this non-exclusive franchise tag thing, compared to the exclusive franchise tag and how the money works out. So if he on the non-exclusive tag, that pays him $32.6 million a year, and allows him to go negotiate with teams, that would want to offer him more, obviously, on a long-term deal. So if your basement is 32.6, how high does Baltimore think the ceiling is going to get? The next question I ask myself is, because of how these things may or may not tend to work, what is Baltimore doing behind the scenes to ensure that the ceiling doesn't get put so high? Is it possible that they have had conversations amongst the owners that say, hey, for whatever reason, they don't want to offer this guy the kind of money that other quarterbacks of his similar accomplishments have been offered?
Well, remember, Nick, we've already discussed that, and Dominic Foxworth said it, and it's true. I don't want to hear it, but this is what they're actually doing. 31 other owners have said, after what the Houston Texans, after what the Cleveland Browns did, the contract that they gave Deshaun Watson, I'll be damned if anybody gives a contract out like that again, especially.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that even if that's not, so if that's the case, then that means they're trying to keep that for all the quarterbacks, right?
Right.
But nobody is thinking this Bengals deal could get a little iffy. This Chargers deal could get a little iffy. This Eagles deal could get a little iffy. Everybody looking at that going, yeah. And what do none of those three guys have that Lamar Jackson does? An MVP in this league.
That's fair.
Joe Burrow obviously had a Super Bowl appearance, and then they made it to another one. So I give him that. But and as the Jalen Hurts now has a Super Bowl appearance and was running up to MVP. But Lamar Jackson went out and did it. He was a unanimous MVP at that. You took the time to build the entire offense around him to set it up for him to succeed, with the exception of not bringing in the receivers to help him succeed, which didn't make any sense. But at any rate, and then you don't want to pay him to be the leader of the offense you built, or you only want to pay him a certain amount. And so the way that you be able to keep him within that range is that I would have to believe that there are some conversations happening behind the curtain that they're saying, okay, hey, if this negotiation gets and maybe it gets to $42 million, and that's the highest most teams are willing to go. And now we can match that, and Lamar now knows, okay, my value is $42 million a year, as opposed to maybe the 45, 50 he may actually be looking for.
Well, Nick, maybe those same conversations behind the curtains are the same type of emails that were saying, don't sign Colin Kaepernick. Don't sign Colin Kaepernick. Don't sign Colin Kaepernick. I don't know.
I am not blind to the possibility reason, there could be an element of Lamar Jackson being
colluded,
too black in comparison to a Patrick Mahomes.
a Russell Wilson,
Deshaun Watson.
a Russell
Even
Wilson.
Deshaun Watson, for that matter, he has different problems, but not that problem. And
Yeah.
It's disturbing that I have to term it as a problem, but that's something we all understand.
And I know all the listeners are saying right now, so what? What the hell does that have anything? But we know what's up and how they do these things at times. But has anyone ever gotten paid like this then for being, so to speak, too black? I mean, was Michael Vick that? No? Yeah, kind of.
They found out on the back end that Michael Vick was that.
On the back end? Oh, okay. Yeah, because they paid him. Beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah, they found out after the contract. Hey, dogs.
Derrick.
I'm not suggesting
Terrence.
Lamar Jackson would do that.
Yeah.
But, there's an element of, I believe, where some owners will look at him and see him in the vein of Michael Vick, or even more relevant to what we're talking about right now, a John Morant. Lamar has himself been seen hanging out with a couple of rappers. I haven't seen anything for him with guns, don't get me wrong. But he's hanging out with the element of people who are allowed to, enjoy those kind of things a little more freely.
Yeah.
And so I can see where the owners would might have to decide out to him, like, y'all might want to watch it.
I think
the curse of Lamar is that out of all of the black quarterbacks, he's always been the poster boy for the mobile quarterbacks, the blackest of the black quarterbacks.
Also,
and I'm not saying it to be funny, but that's all of the vitriol, all of the hatred, all of the disrespect that black quarterbacks have gotten. He's gotten the majority of it over the past 3 or 4 years. People are still out there saying that Lamar can't throw. Nick had to turn his camera off. Come on back, Nick. Come on, Nick.
Where you
going, Nick? Come on now.
What is he so cracked up on? That part about him being too.
The blackest of the black.
Yeah.
I got to
Okay, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. But I couldn't think of another way to say it either, other than the way he said it.
I kind of said that I had Dave Chappelle playing in my head.
In my head, I saw him next to Patrick Mahomes, and I went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Dave Chappelle in my head. Darkness, black evil.
And it's like in their heads they got 2 or 3 different pixies that they're looking at, and one looks like Russell, one looks like Patrick Mahomes, and then there's Lamar.
Different color scheme, and he's way at the top.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Peter Griffin meme with the little color chart?
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, the Peter Griffin color scheme, and he's way at the top.
I haven't saw that, but wow.
Lamar has never gotten a fair shake.
No.
Never gotten a fair shake.
No.
I legitimately blocked Clay Travis for talking about Lamar not being able to throw.
Right.
And all the bad things Clay Travis has said on Twitter, I blocked him for that. Clay Travis.
I know about Clay Travis. I was going to say, maybe of all the things he said, that's the one that got you.
That's what ticked me off. True.
Clay Travis said shit, man.
Well, I'm gonna say this, guys. I think, and we got to wrap it up here. We'll try to get through a few more of these segments, but I think that Lamar Jackson will get the non-exclusive tag tomorrow, and it'll probably happen pretty early tomorrow. However, that still leaves the window open for him to make a deal with other teams. For other teams, watch how many teams. It'll be at least a handful that would immediately reach out. Hey, we'll offer this, we'll offer that. And the Ravens are not going to offer. I mean, they're not going to match one of those big offers. They'll get the 1st and 2nd round pick. I mean, they'll get 2 firsts, or maybe a 1st and a 2nd, and no, they'll get at least 2 firsts and probably more. But
the problem is they're going to have to play chicken with Miami, and that's the one I think they might lose. If Miami can afford to pay him, they're going to play chicken with Miami, and I think that's the one they might lose.
Well, there's one.
You also talk about the Atlanta Falcons, who have almost $60 million in cap space.
They have a lot of money, and they're going hard. Remember, they're going to be very aggressive. Yeah.
If it comes down to a bidding war, they lose it.
But if it comes down to I want to play for a team to where I can get paid and I can still go some places because there's more talent here, call me crazy. And Atlanta is a good match. It is. It's a good fit. But, man, in the NFC, it's Atlanta, but I would say first the Washington Commanders. And I think Eric Bieniemy already knows that they are going to land Lamar Jackson. Why else would you talk to Baltimore and Tennessee but not take either job and then go to D.C.? I think they're going very hard for him, and I don't think they'll have to go as hard as the Jets would, as the Dolphins would, because they're in the NFC, and they already know you want to ship him to the NFC. I think him going right down the road from Landover, Maryland to Baltimore, Maryland to Landover, Maryland. Man, that's a pretty easy, quick trip. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump. That team is already set. The defensive line, pretty solid. The back end, pretty solid. It's a good defense. They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Eagles this year. The Washington Commanders, well coached. Front staff, they're regrouping. I know Snyder and all of that stuff going on at the very top, but they're regrouping. And
the blackest of the black quarterbacks with the races of the racist owner. Now that.
But they've got a black GM, right? They have a black GM now, and on top of all of that, let's not act like Terry McLaurin and those other guys aren't better than what a lot of people think. They don't have a quarterback. They've been struggling to find one. You get Lamar over there, it's going to be the NFC East will be the best division in football, in all of football, if they can get Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Lamar has never even seen a receiver as good as McLaurin is.
That's what I'm saying. My point exactly. That's a huge upgrade compared to what he's had. Think about Lamar Jackson in a division with Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott. And I don't know about Daniel Jones, if he'll be there or not. He's asking for 45 per. I guess we'll quickly get into that too here in a minute.
Last I saw, they were close to a deal at around 40.
Okay, 40. I don't know what the number should be for a guy that underachieved for most of his rookie contract, and then finally in that fifth-year option year,
he had an average season.
He had an average season, and now he's asking for this. I guess what we should be debating is what the hell is Daniel Jones smoking more than just, hey, is he worth 40 million, 40 plus per or whatever or not? But again, the NFC East would be stacked if they do that. As a matter of fact, when they start taking bets on where Lamar Jackson will go, because it's coming, I got mine on the Commanders.
Jarvis, it's not about what Daniel Jones is smoking. He's supposed to ask for a lot of money. The problem is that he's about to get it.
What would you call fair money for Daniel Jones? What would you pay him?
I guess I know 40 isn't a. No, 40 is still a lot. It's still a lot. So I mean, Aaron's getting 50. You're telling me that Aaron Rodgers and Daniel Jones is $10 million difference? There's only a $10 million gap between those two as an arm talent or between the ears. Or come on, man. Yeah. So I mean, I look 30. I'm okay with 30 because I know the number because the number has went up. What is backup money, T? 25,
Backup money lower than that.
15.
That's what he should be getting.
I was still with 35 for Daniel Jones. I'm still with 35 a year. 40 seems a little bit much. That's a lot.
So what are we?
I'm still with 35.
So we're gonna give Daniel Jones 35 million. What are we gonna give Saquon?
15.
If we're keeping we're keeping them both here. We're keeping the team together.
I mean, Saquon gets top of the market money.
What is that?
I think it's somewhere between 12 and 15. What did Richard McCaffrey just get?
The Giants are probably in the top 3, top 5 as far as cap space, I'm sure then, right?
Hey, that's your boy. What did Richard McCaffrey just get?
Saquon?
What did Christian McCaffrey get?
I think he's at 12. 12 per.
Oh, yeah, I'm about to look it up real quick. But yeah, if that's the case, then
I think it's 12.
that neighborhood.
Okay. And again, that contract that McCaffrey's on, that's a couple years old.
No, he got a new one with y'all, though.
No. Hell no.
No, he hadn't signed back yet.
No. I don't know how the hell we can do that. I don't even know how the hell we.
16 million.
I still don't even know how they can keep him. It's going to have to be a restructuring there somewhere. It's going to have to be. But I'm sure they'll work it out. But no, I think it's like 12 per that he's getting. So, and I'm not saying Saquon's not worth that, but are you comfortable with paying Saquon 12 to 15 per and Daniel Jones get 40 or 35? Because he's not going under 35 just because of the way the market has moved. He can still say, I went to Minnesota and beat the second seed in the playoffs. He can say that. Now, I know it didn't look good the very next week, but that team went to the Super Bowl. The first playoff game, though, hey, he did look like a star. He kind of looked like a star. But that's one average season, like Terrence said. So, anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on Daniel Jones, but
you're right. We can't spend too much time on Daniel Jones because
we know Derrick Carr is coming up next.
Yeah.
Too much time on Derrick Carr. I'm so glad you know what I'm saying. I'm glad you know.
Derrick Carr getting 5 minutes.
We definitely should have got to this a little earlier, but yeah, come on with it, Nick. What we saying about him?
Derrick Carr signs a 4-year, $150 million deal with the New Orleans Saints. $100 million guaranteed, 60 or 70 fully guaranteed to signing. I thought it was a great move for the Saints. I think it definitely puts them at the top of the NFC South, which is kind of like saying that you're the best for the garbage, but he's at the top. I
would home playoff game.
There you go. With Chris Olave looking as good as he did last year, Alvin Kamara, of course, will be back. Ideally, Michael Thomas will be back. Of course, Dennis Allen was drafted in the first place. So there is a bit of relationship there. If they can get that thing rolling, as I've said a number of times on the show, as long as people disagree with me, I think Derek Carr is about the 10th best quarterback in the league. And I think he's a guy that you can win with if you can ever get some consistency at the head coach and offensive coordinator positions and get some consistent weapons around him. And certainly he's got a healthy Michael Thomas. And if Chris Olave continues to build on what he looked like last year, I would definitely consider those the best weapons he's had in his career, along with Alvin Kamara in the backfield. Obviously, he had Devontae this past year, but just has a collection of weapons. It was Devontae, and then Darren Waller was hurt a good bit. Hunter Renfrow didn't quite look the same. Josh McDaniels is overrated as a coach. And so I think he's got an opportunity here in New Orleans to kind of revive his career and make him a legit contender here. Maybe not this coming year, but in the next 2-3 years, if he sticks around, I can see that.
Man, look, I'm sorry, but I ain't got the faith in Derek Carr, man. What have I been calling Derek Carr all season? Religious Jacob. And he just finds ways to throw dumb picks at the wrong time.
Jay Cutler found Jesus.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler found Jesus and changed his name to Derek. But no, man, listen. That man had a number 1 run game last year. He had a good tight end with a top 5 receiver, and they didn't make the playoffs.
I think the tight end was out for most of the season.
Tight end was probably out for most of the year. That's fine. That's fair. But still, you got a quarterback with a number 1 run game, and you don't even make the playoffs. As a matter of fact, you're eliminated from the playoffs by like week 12 almost. I mean, they made a little run there, and they had an easy schedule. We were looking at the last 6-7 games they had and was thinking like, hey, they might run the table. And we look up again, they're eliminated from playoff contention. Most of that goes on Derek Carr, so I'm not impressed. I don't care where he goes to.
Did I just hear Nick say that? Did I just hear Nick say that Josh McDaniels may be overrated as a coach? Did he?
Not maybe. He is.
Okay.
As a head coach, absolutely.
That could have something to do with it a little bit. I'm just trying to just.
Not to mention he's the 6th one that Derek Carr's had in 9 years.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't hear that excuse made for people like Jason Campbell, who was over in
Washington.
And then I think he ended up in Oakland, which would eventually become Las Vegas. I didn't hear that excuse made for him or somebody else. They have a lot of coordinators. I'm sorry, Derek Carr was not good.
Alex Smith started his first 5-6 years of his career with different coordinators every single year.
Yeah, Derek Carr was average.
I'll say this about him. I'll say this about him, and I'll be brief. Derrick Carr, I'm kind of like T. He's all right. Maybe I'll give him a little more credit than what Terrence will, just a little bit more. But I do think he's a top 10, 11, 12 quarterback in this league. He's 10, 11, or 12. Yeah, he's 10, 11, or 12. But this is the best fit for him. I'm not going to lie. I know some people are saying, wait a minute, Jarvis. It's not like he had a lot of options. No, he did not. Saints, it was going to be Saints, Jets. That might have been it. We heard there were a few other teams. I don't. And here's my reason why. I don't want to be in the same division with the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. You know, yep. And in the NFC South, again, as you all were stating earlier just a minute ago here, there's no competition. That's the worst division in football probably right now. Well, the AFC South is probably the worst, then the NFC South. No, it probably is the NFC South. It probably is the NFC South. Brady's gone. We don't. So we don't know what Tampa Bay's like. Jacksonville may actually be the top team in that division in the AFC South. But as far as the NFC South, Brady's gone. Carolina's still in rebuild mode. Atlanta, they're still in rebuild, reload, whatever mode you want to call it. They're not ready yet. Not just yet. So him going to the Saints, a team that has the best overall roster in that division. It's a good, solid defense. Defense is legit. We talked about that last offseason. We just didn't know that Jameis Winston would be out and Andy Dalton would play most of the year. We didn't see that coming. It is what it is. They don't like him. They're going to release him. All right, cool. But now that they've got Carr, who is serviceable, they still got Kamara, we think. They still got Michael Thomas, we think. But stop tweeting, dude. You didn't play football at all, really. And you're tweeting like you're happy. And then week 3.
I played in 3 seasons.
And then week 3, you'll be, on injured reserve. I don't know what the hell happened to him or who snatched his soul or what. But after week 3, once again, he was shut down for the season for the most part. And it's like, damn. It made us look bad, Nick, because we had high hopes for the Who Dat Nation. We really thought the Saints were going to do some things. We had them sweeping the Buccaneers. And that defense was good. But they got injured early. And then they came back and got healthy. And the last 5-6 games of the season, it was like, this is the same team we thought that we were going to see. But they were injured. They got back healthy. That defense is good. They still got Kamara. They still got maybe Taysom Hill, who will be doing his gadget stuff in the backfield. They've got some young speed as far as the receivers go. Man, Derrick Carr will be fine. I think this was the best job for him. Better than the Jets because of the AFC being much stronger, much tougher, and that division still better. I like the NFC South is bad, and the NFC isn't that much greater. The whole conference. So, I mean, when you think NFC, you think the Philadelphia Eagles, the San Francisco 49ers, and whatever. Who else you got? Because the Dallas Cowboys, as good as they were, they've got a little revamping to do, though. They're losing quite a few people in free agency if they don't get it together and tag the right people, re-sign the right people, restructure or whatever. So I think that's a great fit for him. Again, you'll get a wild card appearance, maybe a wild card victory, because he definitely needs to win a playoff game. If he can't win a playoff game in the Superdome, then I think that would confirm everything that Terrence has been saying. He definitely needs to win a playoff game. He will get one probably that they will be winning the NFC South now, and the Saints could be back here. Lattimore and all those guys are still balling. Don't get it twisted. So I think it's a good move for them. But again, don't expect much. All right, there's still a ceiling, and I know where that ceiling is. And I'm just saying, don't get too excited because he will bump his head. And that Derrick Carr, that's Steeler game.
I'm trying to pull these folks up on your Saints, man. I got Jarvis a little bit. Terrence, he ain't coming yet, but I'm going to get it.
I'm going to keep it real. He went to a good team, a good defense. It's solid. He's not a bad quarterback. So, yeah, it's a good look. It's actually going to make them look much better than what they really are. But then by postseason, by December, January, you'll realize that they can be beat and they will be beat because of him, though. I think. But the defense will be good. And, again, that division is going to be pretty bad. Yeah, that division is going to be pretty bad. Carolina, maybe, but yeah, I got the Saints. So good look. What else? What else, Nick? 1 hour 14 already. Wow, we there's more things to touch though, I'm sure.
Yeah, NFL wise, a couple of things. Obviously, of course, we talking pre-show at least about Derrick Henry potentially being on the move. Titans are shopping him. Cortland Sutton of the Broncos, he's potentially on the move. The Broncos are quote unquote quietly shopping him.
Yeah,
it's not that quiet anymore. Once the media that's kind of dead. Geno Smith re-signed with the Seahawks. I was happy to see him get a 3-year deal there, $105 million, I think it was. So about $35 million a year for him.
Good deal.
Did the right thing. That's a good deal, I think, on both sides.
Yeah, good deal.
I can see it for Geno for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the big ones that we saw there. The Vikings were going to release Derrick Henry. I saw that.
Jarvis, how does David Bro feel about Derrick Henry possibly being shipped?
Baby brother says that I'm glad you brought that up, T, because he sounds a lot like you with the Lamar Jackson thing. Even though I tried to explain to my brother that it's really not, that's not the reason why I would hang up, why I would give up on the Titans, but I understand your frustration. But it started with the AJ Brown trade. But because of the AJ Brown trade, that is the reason why you have this domino effect. And that's the reason why Derrick Henry has to get traded now. I think it's time to give him a little bit more money. I think the cap hit for this year may be a bit larger. Do you want to give that to a running back that's aging, still good, but we're not going anywhere with this good running back because we don't have enough around him? There's not enough talent to surround him. So it's time. I don't know why people think that the Titans should be in reload mode. Reload how? Aaron Rodgers is not coming there without D-Hop. D-Hop's not coming there without Aaron Rodgers. So, and none of these people are coming just because Derrick Henry's there. You know, the O-line is terrible. None of these veteran quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers or Brady would dare think about coming. Lamar Jackson either in a trade. So, I mean, like, there's no reload. It has to be rebuild. And basically, T, to answer your question, he says if Derrick Henry gets traded, he's done. And he's dead serious.
I feel him, but I want to read you guys something that I came across earlier. Hold on one second. That's why I have my screen.
Okay.
Like, because I've got to search Twitter. Okay, here we go.
And the tight. Oh, go ahead. You're ready. Go ahead.
2022's number one top cap hit in the NFL. $38,600,000. The player, Ryan Tannehill. 2023's number 5 top cap hit in the NFL. $38,600,000. The player, Ryan Tannehill. The Titans traded away AJ Brown last year and are now shopping Derrick Henry to afford Tannehill's top 5, 2 top 5 cap hits in the last 2 years. That's the problem, and that's why I don't fault your brother for not wanting to be a part of that. They paid a mediocre quarterback when they should have been looking for a better quarterback anyway.
Yeah.
I stood by that, and I still say they were not going to win with Ryan Tannehill. But that team was a quarterback away from being not just being a great team, but from winning a Super Bowl.
They should have treated him like the Baltimore. They should have treated him like the Baltimore Ravens are treating Lamar. That's how they should have been treating Tannehill.
They gave Ryan Tannehill his money without question.
And that's why the former general manager, John Robinson, is fired. Because he,
as Shawn Michaels was saying, he had to hit the bricks.
He had to hit the bricks. He did. But that's good stuff, T. Glad you said that. Glad you said that, though, because that does explain why they're in this predicament right here. But again, GMs get fired. That's how, and that's why he's fired. And this new GM, he's having to
has to totally rebuild. And if I'm Mike Vrabel, I don't want to be a part of another rebuild with this organization. Get me out of here.
And he shouldn't be. And that's why I thought that they would have hired Eric Bieniemy as OC, and then he gets, hey, now you're the head coach. Whatever. Anyway, maybe next year. I say they try Vrabel 1 year under the new GM, and I think he says, I just saw what Bieniemy did with the Commanders over there. He's about to be a head coach. It's only going to take him 1 good year to call plays away from Andy Reid, and he's a head coach. We know Steve Wilkes will be a head coach probably after one season with the 49ers because that's just what we do now. You know, we bring in a DC. There's already a pretty good defense there. You're a pretty good coordinator. It looks good. All right, head coach. It'll happen again, just like D'Amico Ryan, just like Robert Saleh. But
I hope so, because he should have had a head coaching job already this year.
I know, and that's why I know it's gonna happen though this time because he went to the right team. That's why I was happy that he went to the Niners because this is gonna make you look so much better. You know, you're good, but now you get the call plays for this defense. Oh man, I think it's gonna be better than D'Amico Ryan's. I really do. He likes to do some exotic blitzes, but there are rumors that the Niners are looking for a top free agent. I mean, a top safety in free agency. I don't know who's available, and I don't even know what type of dollar amount they will be looking for because the Niners ain't got a lot. But they know how to restructure contracts and free up some space. So we'll see. But, yeah, my brother says he's done if they do this. And like I said, I get it. But, again, I understand why they're trading Derrick Henry. They have to. But, again, Terrence just gave us good reasons on why. That's right. Yeah. And you got to do it now. You got to get something for him while you can. Because right now people still think that Derrick Henry is King Henry. When they take that king away, you're not getting what you could get now. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and see what we can get for him now. Fix that offensive line, and maybe you can see what happens with Malik Willis. They definitely paid Tannehill for too long. Yeah, Titans shopping. Before we move on, where is the place? Where is the place, the one team that Derrick Henry goes to where it's like, whoa, the internet breaks. This is dangerous. What's the one team where he could go where we're all shook? Nick can't. One team that Derrick Henry could go to and Nick doesn't have anything arrogant to say about his Eagles because he's shaking. He's a little shaky. Like, damn, I didn't see that coming. If that's even possible. But where could he go?
That team doesn't exist. I'll go ahead and burst your bubble now. That team doesn't exist. And I feel like it's Derrick Henry away from scaring me into oblivion. The team I think he would be the most beneficial for, that he would make the biggest difference for, I think is when we discussed in the pre-show, and that would be the Buffalo Bills. That's the one thing. That's one of the things I think was the most glaring omission from their offense is a solid running game and a running back that at least put a little bit of fear in the opposition. And obviously with the run style that Derrick Henry has at pounding, he definitely would be fine in a cold and snowy environment like Buffalo, particularly as it could be in the playoffs. So that's the one I think would be the scariest addition would be if he went to Buffalo. Not for me, obviously he's in the AFC as opposed to the NFC, so I would take the Super Bowl anyways. But even if I did, that doesn't just strike fear in me to the level that I'm sure Jarvis would like it to.
So everything you just said is 1,000% correct, which is why I believe when the season starts next year, he will be a New England Patriot.
Yeah, I don't think Derrick Henry would like that trade.
Yeah, I think when the season starts next year, Belichick is going to look and say, hey, look, this team can't run the ball in the cold. We played them in the cold. We only threw 2 passes and beat them. So why not go get the guy that they don't want to tackle at all? In the highlights, he's got to get Buffalo slaying their guys to the ground.
Yeah, Josh Norman is just the beginner. This is typical.
I stiff-armed him right out of the league.
We thought Josh Norman was
in
the league for one season.
Right, and so I believe there's all the more reason why Derrick Henry might end up in New England.
One Buffalo, one New England. So my guys think that Derrick Henry will definitely be in the AFC East. I think if they do trade him, well, they're going to trade him. It looks like it. I don't see why they wouldn't. He's going to go to the NFC, I'm sure. If he goes to the AFC, it'll be a team that really not going to do anything or make any noise. So I don't see that happening. But what if Derrick Henry was traded to the NFC? What NFC team would that be? Well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have already released Fournette, so they could use a running back. I don't know who will be under center, but that team still looks pretty good on paper. So that's
you don't know who would be under center. It probably makes more sense for you to lean on a running game.
There you go. Another reason. The Bucks were big on Garoppolo, we heard, but now not so much. It looks like it's the Raiders now that wants him. So I don't know who the quarterback will be for Tampa Bay, but I could see him going there. They need a running back. He could also end up going to Atlanta. That's another.
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
Yeah, and Arthur Smith. A lot of familiarity there.
They went out and landed Lamar and Derrick Henry.
Oh, now that right there.
Make you stop that now.
That right there should have you a little scared, Nick. It should, because we've got Lamar and Derrick Henry in the backfield. We don't know what they're going to add. We don't know what the additions will be through free agency and the draft to make that defense better. I can tell you now.
The reporters that they believe in Drake London and the other receiver.
I believe in him too.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts, the tight end.
Yeah. But I think they got another receiver that they actually like a little bit too.
That's London. There's another guy too. I can't think of who, but man, they're fine. And Arthur Smith is brilliant at calling these type of plays. He did this with Tennessee, Mariota, and had people thinking that he may could be a franchise quarterback at that time. Even for the first half of this past season, he had you thinking that Mariota still belonged as a starter in this league with the Falcons. But I'm just telling you how he runs the RPOs. It's good play calling. He does it at the right time. So I'm just saying. But however, I think that, if they were able to pull that off, they would be giving up a lot, though. Both of those would take trades. So now that would be crazy. They should get whoever the GM is, he should get general manager of the year if they could pull that off. That would be 2 trades. So I don't see that happening. But just Derrick Henry to Atlanta alone, that's possible, or Tampa Bay. So I guess he'll be in the NFC South. I can't think of another team that, now I know the Rams, if they've got anything left to give, they will give it up for the big guys. It's what they do. If Stafford's coming back healthy, they don't really have a running back. Akers, I don't know what they're going to do with him. They're in and out on him. The other one's gone, I believe. So, hey, maybe the Rams will be a destination. I'm not sure. But he's getting traded, and I'm going to say it's an NFC team while you guys stick with the AFC East. All right. And again, Jimmy Garoppolo to the Raiders, that's the talks. They're about to go hard on him. So I don't know why that came out after Derek Carr got signed. I mean, we knew the Raiders weren't going to bring him back. They let him go. But now it's out. What else you got in football, Nick, before we wrap this up?
One of the things, just a little, trying to kind of get something right. Speaking of kind of, at least not former Atlanta receivers, now with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Calvin Ridley did get reinstated today by the NFL, so he'll be able to continue this year. I thought that the idea that he was waiting on it was a little bit ridiculous. Once I get it that he bet on games, whatever, he wasn't even playing them, wasn't even with the team. Serving a suspension when it comes to reapply. He hadn't done anything else. Let him play. It took a little too long, in my opinion, but glad to see it for him.
The Jaguars may win 10 games, 11 games next season.
Y'all want to bet on it?
Wait till the schedule comes out. Then we can talk about it.
Yeah, let's see the schedule. But it looks like they're.
I'm just joking, man. I got a lot of faith in the Jaguars. That was just my one Calvin Ridley joke. I had to get it out of my system.
I got you.
I'm not seeing how I missed that. I'll be honest. I'm a little disappointed in myself.
I did too. Because we always try to have something going for the next season, so I was busy caught up in that. But
this is RPO, man. Y'all were looking for the wrestling reference, and I faked the
you fake, yeah. Hey, man, that is good. It is good that Ridley's back though, and he's back in the league. He's reinstated. That's all good. So much more to talk about. We didn't even get to talk about the combine. Who was more impressive? It seems like the quarterback for the Florida Gators seemed to get most of the hype for this weekend. His vertical, Anthony Richardson, his vertical and all of that right there. I don't know what his 40 time was, but I didn't get to catch much of the combine. I don't really do the combine anymore. Not that it's a waste of time, but it's not whatever Damari Smith said. It's not. Yeah, it's not used correctly anymore. So look, what we do though. Come again, Nick.
I think it was getting 4 4s. He ran in a 40. I think his vert was a little north of 40.
Okay. But now that the combine's over, we'll start focusing more on the draft starting next week. Who's who, mock drafts or whatever. Feel free if y'all want to at least do the first one round or at least the top half of round one. Drafts, trades, whatever you want to throw in there. We want to have a little fun with this, and we're going to do a mock draft, and we're going to try to see if we can put some of these players where they belong. The Chicago Bears are trading their number one pick. Who's going to get that? Who's going to get that pick? Can't wait to find out. We think it'll be Houston. Lovie Smith, they already had it, but Lovie Smith said, nah, you about to fire my ass, and you think I'm not? They don't have the number one pick now. Maybe they'll jump back up and get it. Who knows? We'll see. Aaron Rodgers, is he going to the Jets? It sounds like people are saying Green Bay's fed up. They want an answer, and they want it now. That's what I'm hearing. And also, they think that Aaron Rodgers is either going to be a Jet or he's going to be retired. So we've came from, he's not going anywhere. He'll be a Packer, as always, to he may not even be a Packer at all. He's going to be a Jet or retired. I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll see. Derrick Carr, he knocked the first domino down on Monday, signing with the Saints. So now it's up to Aaron Rodgers. We'll see. Garoppolo, I guess he's just kind of I don't know if he's waiting or I think the first day of free agency, which is what, next Tuesday, I believe. Is it the 5th? No, it's the 15th, I believe. That's the day that people can sign, but I think the 12th is the day that they can. I think next Tuesday, I believe, is when everybody can just start talking, or whenever the 12th is. Garoppolo will probably get signed as soon as free agency hits or opens up with the Raiders. Derek Carr is a Saint. Keep in mind, Brady could unretire and go to the Dolphins or the Niners. John Lynch has said that they will look at a veteran quarterback. They may have to. Brock Purdy had a lot of swelling going on with his elbow, so he postponed his surgery. He's finally going to have it this Friday. It's not the Tommy John. It's still the 6-month rehab. However, guys, it's March. So now that, he didn't get it in February, like it was said, now it's March. So now that 6 months takes us right into the season. The regular season has started. He's not going to be ready week 1. So the Niners have questions. And my issue is, or my question, I guess, would be, and I know we got to get out of here, but my question would be is, why in the hell is Trey Lance not even an option? It doesn't sound like he's an option. You have to find out if Trey Lance is your franchise quarterback before somebody else does. Because what if he is a franchise quarterback and you gave all of that up to get him and then you let him go and he still turns out to be everything you thought he was going to be? At least find out before you let him go. Okay, we blew it. We messed up. He's not that good. Okay, but we had to know. Find out, though, before you let him go and watch him shine, as a Houston Texan or as a Miami Dolphin or as a, I don't know, as something, as a Baltimore Raven. Hell, who knows what'll happen if they don't keep Lamar? So my whole thing is that, it doesn't matter. He won't be a Raven. He won't be. He won't even be a Raven. Yeah.
As Magic Johnson said, I won't be there.
So NFL, the league needs to take this as if they're listening to the Great Debate Show. But if they are, if anybody's listening, you need to understand this. I've already stated that I have a brother that may actually quit his Titans if they trade Derrick Henry, because this is just one too many mistakes by the Titans, on top of the A.J. Brown stuff, on top of what Terrence said, how they had all these cap hits to pay Ryan Tannehill, who is still just a serviceable quarterback in this league. He's average, but that's it. And then Terrence here. host of the Great Debate Show, is saying that he is done with the Ravens if they don't get this Lamar Jackson thing done and figured out. What I'm trying to say is, NFL, if you're listening, y'all got to stop doing all these bogus things that don't make sense. Fans are waking up and fans are saying, hey, I'm going to hold you accountable for that. The hell I'm going to get these season tickets this year, and this is what you're putting on the field? Man, please. Like the Baltimore Ravens, without Lamar Jackson, again, they played a great playoff game. They did everything but get the quarterback sneak. We know why they didn't get that, or why they didn't go for that. They didn't have him on the field. The Ravens are probably saying you're not durable, and you haven't did this, and that when it comes to passing yardage. He can say you hadn't gave me this, you hadn't gave me that. I don't know what their issue is and why they're going back and forth, but they're not close. It'll be a tag, but man, these players should stop agreeing to those CBAs. But yeah, guys, team, league, stop it. You're losing fans like this. People are literally saying, F this. If you don't do this, and that anymore, I'm done. And I get it. I am really just waiting on the 49ers to win another Super Bowl so I can say I'm done too. And they probably never will, though, so I just probably need to just leave it alone. But they jerk us around every single year. And this year, I can't really blame too much on anything other than we ran out of quarterbacks. But, I mean, man, NFL, you got to do better. There's no reason why. If I'm the commissioner, I'll step in and say, hey, man, sign this. Oh, what's that, Mr. Goodell? It's Lamar Jackson's contract, damn it. Just sign this so we can get up out of here. The Ravens, you're going to lose all your season ticket holders. I mean, I don't know. You got to do something. I'm predicting that Lamar Jackson is a Washington Commander with Eric Bieniemy, and John Harbaugh will retire. Now, again, depending on what the load is that they get for Lamar Jackson, I could very well see this organization easily turning it around, getting the most out of those draft picks, getting the most out of the veteran free agents that they'll get, and it won't be many, but it'll be the right ones at the right positions. You know how they do. And he'll have them ready to play. But I know that's not enough of you, Terrence, because you had a superstar that could win you championships, and you won't have them anymore. So I get it. But just know that the Ravens, I'm more confident in the Ravens turning their haul around if they lose Lamar Jackson versus the Titans, because the Titans have so much more to build on after they get rid of Derrick Henry versus your team, who still has a solid defense, especially with Roquan being locked in. Yeah, linebacker. Yeah, but that's more reason why Terrence is leaving, because Roquan Smith got signed in 4 days, and Lamar Jackson can't get a contract in 4 years. At least you know where, they think their bread is buttered. That's what it seems anyway. But that's all I got, Nick. Was there anything else you had on the football, or did we cover most of it all?
That's it, man. I think we ran through everything that mattered.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Next week, we'll see what's going on with Ja, and we'll get more into, who's that better team in the NBA, because right now me and Terrence aren't sold on anyone. So we'll dive back into that. Free agency frenzy starts next week. Somewhere part the middle of the week or early in the week. Where are these players going to be signing? Robbie Gould, if anybody's looking for a kicker, Robbie Gould is not staying with the 49ers. He said that over the weekend. He will be testing free agency. Only thing I can say is deuces. And what else? Who else? Oh,
got your hat, get your coat.
You got your hat, get your coat. There you go. One more thing, though. Nick Bosa was on Richard Sherman's podcast today. And take this. I know, right? Take this how you want, with a pinch of salt or whatever. But he said, don't be surprised if he's playing with his older brother next year on the 49ers. And Richard Sherman said, are you saying that Bosa could be a 49er, Joey Bosa? He kind of, again, confirmed it and repeated itself, like, I know a trade or whatever would have to happen, but don't be surprised if if I'm playing with my brother or whatever, we're teammates next year. This has been kind of sprinkled around, but only mostly in the Bay Area. I've heard these rumors in the past few years, but there's no way it could have happened. It never came to fruition. But now that Bosa is older, and I mean Joey, he's getting older. He's starting to be, plagued by some of these injuries. He's nicked up a lot more. He probably could come at a cheap price. I don't know what the draft haul would be for him, but it wouldn't be crazy. It wouldn't be much, I wouldn't think. So I don't know. Take it for what you want. But he did say that to Richard Sherman on his podcast, and I'm not sure. Now, a lot of times players just say things, and they're just saying things. But George Kittle's been asking for a second bye week for a couple of years now, and he ain't getting that. So sometimes players just say things, and it means nothing. But again, he said it, so I have been kind of hearing it. They need another pass rusher because they got one or two that they're losing to free agency. So if they could get Joey Bosa in for cheap, what do you all think? Would that be dangerous to have Nick Bosa and Joey Bosa as these bookend pass rushers? I don't know how Jalen Hurts would think about that if he had to see that. Nick, I don't know. I don't know.
Play like we did last year.
Right.
Just like we did Michael Parsons as well.
Gotcha.
Read out for y'all boys to death. Wherever y'all go, we going another way.
Yeah. Hassan Reddick. He's the player of the game. He was the MVP for that game. And you know why. If it wasn't for that, yep. It's a good thing you didn't say he would be 2 weeks later because he was not in the Super Bowl. I forgot he was playing. But in that NFC Championship, yes, you were right. He was the MVP. If he doesn't take Purdy out of that game, it may be a different story, Nick. It might have been a different story. And we probably wouldn't have lost the Super Bowl. We might have would have actually won it.
It was a film.
I know.
You gonna owe me when these Timberwolves fall through.
What is it? The Don Julio?
Yeah, we can go down. That's fine. I ain't had no problem with that.
Yeah.
He got a good fight to it. I like that actually.
What was I supposed to be getting if the Timberwolves finished 6 or better? I forgot what I said. Did I go with the Hennessy or the Douce?
I think you went Brown. So
I went Brown. I think it'll be the Douce.
Maybe Remy deny my pockets with the time.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. That's all I got though, guys. This has been a long one, but it was so much stuff to talk about because everything really. We thought we were gonna have a quick show. Then all kind of stuff the news just started popping. Like NFL was really buzzing. NFL was buzzing on Monday, and it started with Derrick Carr. Excuse me, and then Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins. Have anybody heard anything about him? Where is he going? If he hasn't, next week a lot of things are going to unfold though as free agency opens up. Y'all check on Terrence in the next 24 hours, 12 hours. Just check on him, especially if there's not a tag, even though I think it will be. But let's just make sure Terrence doesn't go to that bridge and he doesn't look over there and think about make sure he doesn't think about jumping, man, because he looks very, very upset, disappointed, and I get it. But yeah, man, just remember, y'all, this is just a game, and this game that I tell you all is not real. And so these players are going where they're meant to go, where they're put to go. Everything that they're doing, they're planting the seeds because those NFL meetings that they have in March, it's really discussing, hey, this team's going to go here. This team's going to be in the playoffs. This was going to win the Super Bowl. That's what they're really planning. Somebody asked me a question the other day. They said, if you could just give the audience one reason as to why you think that these leagues are rigged. And I said, well, here's one. How come when players do things, coaches, players, or whatever, if it has to do with the team, they're always disciplined. Always. 9 times out of 10, something happens. How come when officials mess up, they immediately let you know they messed up the very next day, which means nothing for the team or the fan base, but they never get disciplined? They're never held accountable. Now, I know Adam Silver just came out recently and said that, well, our referees, that they're held accountable for their mistake. Oh, yeah, what? He didn't answer. He didn't say what? He didn't say what they do. What do they do to them? Do they fine them? Let me see the fines. Put them at the bottom of the screen. Why don't we see those reports? Why are the officials never held accountable? It's easy, because they're doing nothing wrong. That was my reason. That was my answer to the person that asked me that. They're doing nothing wrong. They're doing what they're told to do. That's why they're never held accountable. They are doing what they told them to do. When the official picked up Tom Brady after calling a defensive PI on the Jaguars in the 2017 AFC Championship game, and immediately after that game ended, they was patting Brady on the chest and high-fiving him. Like, yeah, man, y'all almost lost that game, but we came through for you. You know you weren't going to lose. I mean, that's what the stripes are for, baby. And I mean, it was like, whoa, did anybody see that? Because it was a bad call. The Jaguars and the Patriots in the Super Bowl, the Jaguars and the Eagles in the Super Bowl, I guess that didn't sound like a lot of views. Maybe that didn't sound like a huge ratings. I'm not sure. So it was Brady versus the Eagles. But I'm just saying, when they get called out the next day for, that was a bad call. We made a mistake. We looked at this rule. We looked at this. They're never held accountable. And the answer for that is that because they didn't do anything wrong. That's exactly where the game was scripted, for it to end on a bad call. But they were supposed to make that bad call. That's all I'm saying. And I know it's a physical sport, and they get roughed up, they get injured. All that stuff is real, and these players are really good. But in the end, if they say, Justin Jefferson, you're going to have 2 catches for 22 yards, and you're like, man, get the fuck out of here. Justin Jefferson ain't going to have no 2 catches for 22 yards. If that's what they tell him to do, that's what he's going to do. And they'll just make it look like, hey, they zoned him, they doubled him on here, and then they put Slay on him, and Slay did this, and then Gardner Johnson came over and done that. They'll make it look like this is the reason why, but it's just basically because, hey, you're going 2 for 22. All right, that's it. We're done. Good show, guys, and hopefully we got some good news here in these next few episodes to say about Memphis, to say about Ja Morant, because every time we talk about Memphis, it never seems to be anything good. Hopefully that'll change. And to piggyback off of what Terrence was saying earlier in the show, guys, if something is wrong, it's just wrong. That's just it. You don't have to feel some type of way because, that's Ja. You better stay off of him. Get off of him. Or what some of these girls are saying, that's my baby daddy. They'll be talking about him like that. Man, if he's wrong, he's wrong. This is bad influences that we're setting up for the kids, man. You can't condone that. I don't give a damn where. And he's from South Carolina. So some of you Memphians that are saying some of the things that you're saying, you sound ignorant and foolish. He don't give a damn about y'all. He don't give a damn about Memphis. He's not from Memphis. He's just here right now, getting paid. Paid. But that's it. He can care less about Memphis. Nobody cares about Memphis. Nobody but Memphis. And why should they? The past year or so, it's been a horrible place. It's nothing to be proud of or happy about at all. So let's cut that out. Ja was wrong, and he can't do this. He has to tone it down. He just has to. What are we doing this for? Just to say, hey man, I'm real. Oh yeah, Ja's a real one. Who is he proving that to? Who? Yeah. Sit up in jail or sit somewhere, bagging groceries or something. Whatever you may have to go to if this don't work out. And are you going to be able to hang your head out? Well, at least they know I'm a real one. Come on, man. At least they know I'm about that life. About what? Just be about playing basketball, bro. That's it. And let's stop getting our feelings in these comments and stuff, man. It is what it is. The dude messed up. He has to be held accountable. After that, let's get right, clean it up. It's cool. Get back, got the ball out. Because everybody knows I'm a huge Ja fan. Huge. But I'm not about to take up. I'm not about to take up for anything like that, though. Okay, so what's the name? Real quick, Ja Morant is now called Ja Warrant. How are they saying it? Is it Warrant or Warrant? Just Warrant.
I don't know, but it's wild. It's a wild place.
It's wild. There's the picture with Gilbert Arenas and the 2 pistols. They're saying that's the fat head that was on his wall when he was growing up. So I'm like,
yeah, I think the craziest thing I saw was lyrics to the Eminem song.
Damn, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, they played it over a video showing him showing the school he went to and a family picture with his parents and the Clarence lives.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No. I saw that one. Yeah. Yeah. That's the funniest one I've seen so far. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, Korean fro.
That was good.
I saw one where they were like, if David Stern was the commissioner, they played this clip of Dave Chappelle. He was like, "Where is Ja?"
Hey guys.
The internet has had some fun with it.
Was that 8 Mile? Was that the 8 Mile thing?
Yeah.
That they were doing with Eminem? Yeah, that's the funniest one, man. That was hilarious. That was a good one there. Oh my God. Yeah, the pictures. The internet's undefeated, man. Man, you talking about petty. Oh my God. Got me choking up, man. Damn, that was some funny stuff. I'm sure everybody's seen it and heard it though, but yeah. Anyway, again, not saying he doesn't deserve none of this right now, but Ja, come on, man. Let's get it together and come on, man. We're supposed to be talking championships here. Instead, we're talking about maybe are you going to be available for the playoffs? Hopefully, we'll see what they do. Maybe he will just be away for a few games. It seems like they're messing with him tough here. They know his ratings, so we'll see. But meanwhile, Zion Williamson, is he back? Is he playing? I don't think so. Still not playing. What if the New York Knicks go to the NBA Finals? Wow, wouldn't that be something?
Don't do chance like that. It's been hard enough for him already.
That would be really good for him, considering that he won't have a football team after a week or two, maybe. That'll be something. That would be good for him. Seriously, that would be good for him. I just don't see Lamar Jackson suiting up as a Raven. I don't. All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers. Maybe this stuff will break as soon as it does. We'll be back, and we'll try to get it to you as soon as we can, regardless of what day it may be. We're going to try to come back with a wrestling episode also for the wrestling audience. AEW Revolution just ended that pay-per-view. There's some CM Punk hints where he could be returning. I got some stuff to say about MJF. I'm sure Terrence does as well. The Bloodline, the best story in wrestling, that continues. And also something else that me and Terrence need to discuss about Matt Riddle. I'm not sure if he knows it or not, but his days in the WWE may be over or numbered. I don't know. They're definitely not thinking about him right now. He's not even – he could have came back for the WrestleMania and nothing. He's been out of rehab, all of that. So we'll talk about it. That's all I got. We got to get out of here. I'm sorry it's been a long one, but it was a good show. Lot to talk about. And free agency is going to be wild. Wild, I believe. I think all these quarterbacks are going to get shuffled. So that's it for me, guys.
Hey, peace out, guys.
That'll be easy.
Hey,